2015, we'll call the Senate Governmental Organization Committee to order. And the first item for business, item 1, the adoption of committee rules. Let's establish a quorum first. Let's do that. Call the roll. Thank you. Present.
All present. Berryhill. Block. Here. Block present. Gaines. Gaines present. Galgiani. Hernandez. Hill. Hueso. Here. Hueso present. Lara. McGuire. Here. McGuire present. Vidak. Here. Vidak present.
All right. So we've established a quorum. And what is the pleasure of the committee on item 1? Move adoption. Roll call, please.
Motion is to adopt our rules for the 2015-16 session. Hall?
Yes.
Hall, aye. Berryhill? Block? Aye. Block, aye. Gaines? Aye. Gaines, aye. Galgiani? Hernandez? Hill? Hueso? Aye. Hueso, aye. Lara? McGuire? Aye. McGuire, aye. Vidak? Aye. Vidak, aye.
All right. We have 6 on that, and it's sufficient for passage. We'll move to item 2. Mr. McGuire, are you ready to take up your item?
Yes, sir.
All right, please do so.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. Good morning, members. I do appreciate the opportunity to be able to present Senate Bill 133 to your committee, sir, and grateful for the opportunity. Senate Bill 133 is a technical cleanup measure meant to update an antiquated code section, which was last amended in 1955 to reflect subsequent changes that consolidated and updated oversight responsibilities of the California Pure Foods Act. The Alcoholic Beverage Control Act requires the Chief of Bureau of Food and Drug Inspection to notify the Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control of the conviction of any licensee of a food safety violation. The department, in turn, is then required to investigate as to whether such violation is grounds for the suspension or revocation of the license of the licensee. This provision of statute contains several outdated references. For example, there is no longer a chief of the Bureau of Food and Drug Inspection, and the California Pure Foods Act, referenced by the statute, was combined with the Sherman Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Law in 1970. Statutes that contain outdated references potentially confuse the enforcement of this important public safety program and programs. SB 133 replaces the outdated references with the correct references, and this bill replaces the chief of the Bureau of Food and Drug Inspection with the director of the Department of Public Health and the California Pure Foods Act with the Sherman Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Law. Mr. Chair, I have Mike Velasco with the Wines Institute with me that may have a few items to add or answer any technical questions.
Very good.
Mr. Chair, committee members, Mike Velasco, Wine Institute, here to answer any questions you have. The authors completely explained the bill.
Right. Any questions from the members? All right. Any questions or comments from witnesses or folks in the audience? No? All right. I spoke to the senator earlier and wanted to make sure that we're clear. This is a spot bill, pretty much. And we're moving this bill through. If this bill should morph into something else, you know, we will see this bill again, right?
Thank you so much for the clarification, sir. Yes, absolutely. This bill will be coming back to your committee for further review.
Okay, very good. Is there a motion? The motion, the spot bill is being moved. Please call the roll.
Motion is due pass and re-refer to the Committee on Health. Hall?
Aye.
Hall, aye. Berryhill? Block? Aye. Block, aye. Gaines? Aye. Gaines, aye. Galgiani? Hernandez? Aye. Hernandez, aye. Hill? Hueso? Aye. Hueso, aye. Lara? Aye. Lara, aye. McGuire?
Aye.
McGuire, aye. Vidak? Vidak, aye.
Okay. That bill has 8 votes, and we'll still put on a hold for other members to come vote.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Very
Chair.
good.
Thank you.
Mr. Lara. Yeah, that is easy. Mr.
Chair.
Mr. Lara?
I was looking very dapper as always.
Well, I'm trying to take after you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. who
And
also look
flattering
very
gets you
dapper
everything,
today.
by the way.
Thank you for hearing Senate Bill Joint Resolution 4, which is not a spot bill. This morning, this resolution would memorialize the U.S. Congress to place a statue of American hero and astronaut Dr. Sally Ride in the U.S. Statutory Hall. It's fitting that this hearing take place in March, which is National Women's History Month, where we honor the immeasurable achievements of women throughout our country. I was honored to kick off this effort in Los Angeles in front of the Space Shuttle Endeavour at the California Science Center with Sally's family, astronaut Wendy Lawrence, and over 50 students from the Sally Ride Elementary School in LAUSD. The kids from the Ride Elementary are a solid reminder of the legacy Sally has left and the inspiration she continues to make for future generations. Sally broke the stratospheric glass ceiling by becoming the first American woman and youngest person to travel to space on June 18, 1983. She was a proud Californian and is remembered today as a trailblazer who devoted her life to pushing the limits of space and inspiring young girls to succeed in math and science careers. Sally is a modern-day representation of the American dream. She would become the first woman to represent California and the first member of the LGBT community ever to represent the state in Statutory Hall in our nation's capital. In 2012, she was recognized posthumously with the highest civilian honor by earning the Civilian Medal of Freedom by President Obama. I hope you would join me and the leadership of the Legislative Women's Caucus, the leadership of the Legislative LGBT Caucus, the Association of California Commissions on Women, 16 retired astronauts, LGBT groups, and others in supporting SJR 4. With me today is Reverend Bear Ride, Sally's sister, who will share a few words, Patty Bellasalma from the National Organization of Women, and Joe Michael from Equality California to speak in support.
Absolutely. In which order, Senator, would you prefer?
Bear.
I greet you and thank you all on behalf of the Ride family. It's truly an honor to be with you today as you make this important decision. I want to give a few personal comments about my sister. During one of her early interviews with NASA before she had been chosen to be an astronaut, Sally, who was indeed a proud and conscientious native Californian, after she had leaped through over the standard questions about her physical abilities, her psychological stability, and that sort of thing, addressed her twin passions for science and space. Then they asked her what she liked to do for fun and when she relaxed. With her signature cool confidence, Sally said, "I like to ride down Mulholland Drive with the windows wide open, the sun shining, the wind blowing, and the radio at full blast." One of her NASA interrogators jotted down approvingly, "California girl." Indeed, Sally was a signature California girl, confident, smart, imaginative, very loyal and funny, with a laser-like intensity when focused on something of import. Sally radiated a spirit of integrity and optimism. She was an astrophysicist, a pioneer, astronaut, educator, advocate for STEM literacy, and a role model. Sally's message, especially to kids, was always reach for the stars. Her legacy is in the sparkling eyes and the ignited imaginations of hundreds of thousands of kids around the country who imagine themselves in her shoes, reaching for those same stars. Sally was mainly always curious, open-minded, and ready to push forward. She knew in her bones, as Carl Sagan would say, somewhere something incredible is waiting to be known. She was imaginative, self-confident, and thus willing to take risks. She never really saw the barriers that were standing in her way as such, that is, as barriers, but rather as opportunities to move forward and to do the next thing and the right thing. and appropriate for the California girl who spent more than her fair share of time in Disneyland when she was young. She was fond of quoting Walt Disney, who said, "We keep moving forward, opening new doors and doing new things because we're curious, and curiosity keeps leading us down new paths." Our parents taught us to think for ourselves, to err on the side of humility, to cultivate open minds and open hearts, and to keep proper perspective with a sense of humor. This turned out to be great advice for any of us who, like Sally, seek to reach for the stars. And so, on behalf of the Ride family, I thank you for acknowledging Sally's legacy as a pioneer and as a California girl. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your testimony. Next.
Good morning. I'm Patty Belisama, president of the California National Organization
Good
for
to see
Women.
you, Patty.
Good to see you. And I'm here not just as president of the largest feminist organization in the state. I'm actually here for myself and my partner. I can't tell you how, from both a professional standpoint as well as a personal one, to be able to know that our state would recommend Sally Ride's statue to be placed in D.C. and then be able to go there and see a reflection of ourselves, and then to watch children as they see themselves, and how important that is to moving us forward, to actually have physical, real-life heroes embraced and celebrated by the powers that be. It's an exciting and wonderful thing for your committee to move out, and for this great state to embrace. So I can't add any more to the eloquent portrayal of Dr. Sally Ride. So I'll end there.
Thank you. Thank you, Patty.
Staff, the rest are me too.
All right. Any comments, any other witnesses in favor? Please come forward.
Joe Michael for Equality California. We're proud to support this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you.
Frank Molina on behalf of the San Ynez Band of Shumash Indians in strong support. We think this is more than worthy.
Thank you for your testimony.
Hi, good morning. Shannon Smith Crowley, representing the American Association of University Women for California, in strong support.
Thank you for your testimony.
Hi, I'm Don Bentz with the Sacramento LGBT Community Center, and we also support this resolution.
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony.
Hi, I'm Sandra Williams, just representing South LA Chapter Now and Califia Now, and we're in big support of this resolution.
Good to
Thank
see you, Sandra.
Good to see you.
Any other witnesses? Any witnesses in opposition? Please come forward. And state your name and your organization.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members. Sandra Palacios with the California Catholic Conference of Bishops. First, we want to apologize to the author and to the committee for not having submitted a letter of opposition on SJR4 at this moment. Although our office did speak to the author's office, I believe yesterday, just very briefly to relay our concerns. As some of you may already know, Pope Francis recently announced that he will canonize Father Serra likely during a trip to Washington later this year in the fall. And as far as we know, this canonization is moving forward. And so, unfortunately, this resolution puts us in a very difficult and very awkward position at this time. Ms. Sally Ride is certainly a notable figure and very worthy of recognition. And we certainly are open to engaging with you and others in this conversation, but just feel that this is sad and inappropriate timing at this moment. For these reasons, we are opposed to SJR4, and therefore we urge your no vote on this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Any other witnesses in opposition? Comments from the members? Senator?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Everybody loves Sally, and I think this is a good bill. The concerns that were just mentioned, would you have any problem moving this back a little bit to allow all this other stuff to happen first?
Well, we don't know what the exact timing is, and again, we have to also recognize that the foundation, the Commission on the Status of Women, are going to still take time to formulate the foundation, to raise the money, to create the statue. So this is going to take us, time.
So it's going to be after the fact anyway?
Correct.
Who's paying for this?
So the funds will be raised by the foundation. They'll establish and raise the funds from private entities in order to cover the costs, just like we did in 2009 when we replaced Sir Thomas King with now our former California Governor and President Ronald Reagan. So it was all private funds, and the foundation was set up to pay for that. It's the same model we're utilizing.
Great. Well, I appreciate that very much. I'll be supporting this bill today.
Thank you. Mr. Block, Senator Block, then Senator Hueso.
Yeah, I'll be supporting the bill as it is. I think it's very important to have a statue honoring Sally Ride in the Capitol. I have some concern about removing Father Sarah's statue. Did you consider moving to remove the Ronald Reagan statue instead?
There is, according to the rules and regulations by the statutory hall, a statue, once it's replaced, has to stay in place for 10 years. Our President Reagan statue has been in place now for 6 years, so he is not eligible to be replaced.
So we've got 4 more years?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Senator Waite, this is my first committee hearing, and I tell you, welcome to the Senate. Senator Hueso.
Sorry about that. Thank you very much. You know, I have a question about, and maybe maybe you know, maybe you haven't. When was the last time we had a symbol in Washington that was a woman since this program began? Does anybody know that?
In California, we have never had a female represent us in statutory hall.
Wow, that is amazing. And this I understand Father Junipero Serra has been there since 1931. When did this program begin?
The first time California sent statues was in 1931.
And since then, it's never had a woman represent?
Correct.
Well, you know, I think this is very important what you're doing. A symbol is very important of our state. Having a woman be placed there is very important. I don't necessarily see the removal of Father Junipero Serra as a removal of Father Junipero Serra. I see it as a rotation that I think needs to take place on a regular basis. California has a lot of very important figures to celebrate, a lot of people that in and of themselves represent what this great state has become. Because of my faith and because of my interest in history, I'm a particular fan of Father Junipero Serra. He was an amazing man. I think he represents the grit of California, the people that came here and showed an enormous amount of personal sacrifice and enormous amount of initiative. What he did was amazing. And one of the stories they talk about him is actually walking from Carmel all the way to Mexico City to express some grievances over the military treatment of the Native Americans. But generally, he was a person that walked up and down the state, you know, without a horse, without a carriage. And there were a lot of Californians that did that. A lot of Californians that made an enormous amount of sacrifices to create the state that we now have. And I think Sally Ride is one of them. I think Sally Ride is an excellent choice. And I hope that, I hope that Father Junipero Serra is canonized. It'll be California's first saint, something that that will add to kind of the greatness of our state and recognize people that are deserving of that recognition, and hopefully create more interest in learning about him and more interest in visiting California. I hope that we could bring that statue back to California and maybe bring it to his first mission in San Diego, maybe at the first location that he established the mission in Presidio Hill, that's a state park, or even if they could be located at San Diego de Alcalá in my city, or maybe it could be a rotation that could be shared with the missions he helped establish, and maybe even our very own state museum. I'd love to have people get a glimpse of this rare statue that's been in existence since 1931, serving as a symbol for our state. And maybe it could continue to do that from different locations within our state. And now with the additional title of actually being a person that within the Catholic faith is recognized as the highest recognition of a person as through the process of statehood sainthood that he is hopefully going to achieve. Anyway, thank you for doing this, and we could probably, whenever that does happen, I know there's going to be a process. It'll take a few years, maybe 3 years, right? And I'd love to be there to see the placement of Sally Ride, and also bring in Father Junipero's image back home to California.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Vidak?
Four more years. Again, this is Sally is a great hero to many, many here in California and across the United States and even in the world. I just want to go back to the public monies. This is going to be paid for by private. It's the wording's a little bit different, I think, than the last time, the last resolution for this.
The intent is for the money to be all completely privately funded and privately fundraised, just as it was for our presidential Reagan statue. The Commission on the Status of Women and Girls is entrusted on being the commission in charge of raising that fund. There will be no state funds used for the creation of the statue.
Thanks.
All right. Yes, please, Senator Gaines.
I want to thank you for bringing this forward, and I appreciate the comments of Senator Hueso in terms of the potential sainthood and then what happens with the statue, and maybe there could be an accommodation in a museum here in California. But my colleague from San Diego and his comments about Ronald Reagan, I think, were very inappropriate, and I find them offensive. But I'm going to let that pass, and I'm going to go ahead and support this because I think it's the appropriate nature of making change and making sure that we are taking the right approach in terms of representation in the in the U.S. Capitol. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Gaines. Senator Block.
Yeah, not to prolong this, but to have Ms. Wright as the first LGBT person representing California with her statue next to Ronald Reagan's, who ignored the AIDS crisis for years as thousands of LGBT community members died, is to some extent an insult to the LGBT community. So I am serious about removing his statue in 4 years.
Okay. All right. So not to prolong the discussion, I think we have some unanimity as it relates to the honor of Sally, and certainly it's the unanimity of support that's overdue. And I'm happy and honored that Senator Lara asked me to be a co-author on this. I was elated when I saw it, and I'm still elated. Hopefully, I'll be in D.C. With you when this is brought to the statuary hall. I'm sorry?
You'll probably be there sooner.
Well, we'll be there together. But I think this is so Californian. This is what California is all about. We are leaders, as goes California, as goes the nation, and we are shining a light yet again on California by doing something so extraordinary. So I want to thank you, Senator for bringing this forward, and certainly give you a few minutes to close if you wish.
Thank you, members, and I appreciate your support. Again, this is about modernizing our heroes and statues and icons. And icons matter in our country, and to be able to see the first California female to be honored in this way is something that's greatly overdue. And as somebody who was raised Catholic, you bet your hearts that I'm going to make sure that we treat that statue of Junipero Serra with all due respect. There's several ideas. We've reached out to the Catholic Conference of Bishops to work with us on either doing a revolving tour of all the missions with the statue, or perhaps entertaining the idea of Senator Hueso of placing him in Presidio Hill, the first mission that he founded. The point is to obviously bring him home respectfully and ensure that we celebrate his many accomplishments as well. And again, in doing so also, we modernize our history and our heroes that are native to our beautiful state here of California. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. There's no further discussion. Is there a motion? It's been moved. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Motion is be adopted. Hall?
Aye.
Hall, aye. Berryhill? Aye. Berryhill, aye. Block? Aye. Block, aye. Gaines? Gaines, aye. Galgiani? Hernandez? Aye. Hernandez, aye. Hill? Hueso? Aye. Hueso, aye. Lara?
Aye.
Lara, aye. McGuire? Aye. McGuire, aye. Vidak? Vidak, aye.
Okay. That's 9. That's enough. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members.
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony. It's good to see you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we're going to leave. Okay. Yeah, we're going to lift item 2 for Mr. Berryhill to add on. In fact, we'll leave these on call until after the hearing. So if a member comes in and wants to add on, they have it.